Good evening, I'm Fatai Whaingaa and welcome to Television Tonga News. Making headlines, Their Majesties will officiate at the Solomon Islands USB graduation this Friday. The editor and publisher of Kelea newspaper published an apology to the court in their newspaper. And Mama Mai Solar Farm distributes more than 2,000 megawatts to households in its first year of operation. These and more stories later on in this bulletin. Their Majesties King Leopold VI and Queen Anasba'u will arrive in the Solomon Islands tomorrow to officiate at the University of the South Pacific's graduation ceremony. The Palace Office confirmed this to Radio and Television Tonga News this afternoon. The Solomon Islands University of the South Pacific graduation will be held this Friday. This is after Their Majesties officiate at the same ceremony in Suva, Fiji. Following Their Majesties is Lord Chamberlain Vialatupo. Parliament's Standing Law Committee has submitted a report on the Act of Constitution of Tonga, Amendment No. 2 Bill 2013. It is an act to amend the Constitution to make different provision for votes of no confidence. A request was also made to the Speaker and members of the House to amend their rules of procedure and standing orders before the committee can work on the given bill. Kalolaini Tonglava reports.
The chairman of the Law Standing Committee, the Deputy Prime Minister Honourable Sami Vaipulu, told the Speaker of the House that the committee cannot work on the amendment bill as the House is yet to have a standing order on such bill. This bill refers to a vote of no confidence in the Prime Minister. The members of the House approved the submission. Mr. Vaipulu says the report refers to work carried out by the Standing Law Committee on the Amendment Bill of the Constitution 2 for 2013 to improve or make changes to a bill on the vote of no confidence in the Prime Minister. Furthermore, the Standing Law Committee says there are no such rules or procedures on the matter, which needs to be delayed until the Law Committee develops one. The Standing Law Committee is made up of the representatives from the People's Table, the Nobles Table, and government ministers. After this morning's parliamentary deliberations, Parliament changed to the Committee of the Whole House for members to deliberate more on the Criminal Bill 2013.
The editor and publisher of the Kelea newspaper, Mateni and Lautala Tapueluelu, have published an apology in their newspaper to the magistrate and the judiciary. The apology published in the Kelea newspaper expressed the editor and publisher's remorse over an opinion piece in a newspaper dated June 24, 2013. The heading states that the ruling made will be thrown into a historical rubbish bin. Under this heading, an opinion was expressed regarding a ruling made in a separate civil case in court. In light of this, the Attorney General, Neil Edsett, filed a complaint regarding the opinion piece and said the heading showed contempt or disrespect to the court and judiciary. A court order was issued last month for Kelea's editor and publisher to appear in court, which they did not. Chief Justice Michael Scott ruled for their sentencing to be delivered tomorrow, September 12th. However, an apology was issued in Kelea's newspaper this week, Monday, September 9th. The apology is featured on page 5 with a heading, An Apology to the Court. The apology expressed their sincere apology and remorse for their shortfall. Upon the first year of its operation, the Mama Mai Solar Farm exceeds its expected goal by distributing up to 2,050 megawatts of electricity to households in Tongatapu. This has also saved the company close to 900,000 pa'anga. Here's Kalolaini Tonglava with that report.
The Mama Mai Solar Farm has completed its first year of operation. The Tonga Power Limited revealed that they initially targeted to distribute 1,800 megawatts, but they had surpassed this to 2,050 megawatts of electricity. The progress also enabled Tonga Power to save more than 870,000 pa'anga. The money saved would have paid for imported oil for electricity generation. Meanwhile, a roundtable discussion on electricity tariff rates was held yesterday among stakeholders. The director of the Tonga Energy Roadmap term, Inoke Vala, says the meeting looked at energy efficiency. The second part looks at efficiency. Efficiency is seen as the operations of the Mama Mai solar plant, which can help save thousands of pa'anga each year. this can be returned to the customers. For example, if 470,000 baang is saved, then the money can be returned to the electricity consumers. At the moment, TERM is applying for funding of future energy projects. We're also working with the Tonga Power Limited and the Commission to ensure that the projects are efficient. The goal is by 2020, 50% of electricity produced and distributed in Tonga is generated from renewable energy projects such as the Mama Mai solar farm. The country's commitment to its renewable energy project targets 50% of electricity generated by renewable energy by 2010. This will be achieved through various energy projects. To date, there are 7 future renewable energy projects for Tonga. The aim is to reduce the high electricity tariff, make Tonga less dependent on imported oil used for the distribution of electricity. Current projects underway include the Mama Mai solar farm, the mega grid farm in Vava'u, and the wind turbine project in Nakolo.
The Fiji-based Pacific Computer Emergency Response Team, or PACSERT, calls on governments and stakeholders to be aware of cybercrimes and ensure security against it. The stance was made during the second day of the annual BACINETS conference at Whanelua Convention Centre. Sinilato reports.
PACSERT manager Patrick Quate based his statement on an independent study on cost of cybercrime in Europe. This was during a presentation he made on cybersecurity.
They found that about $97 million on an annual basis is spent on fake antivirus type scams, about $10 million on the stranded traveler scam. I think this one's quite common in the Pacific as well. $200 million fake escrow services, $1 billion lost annually in advanced fee fraud, Nigerian scam, $370 million through online banking fraud, $320 million phishing, $1 billion spent by organizations, particularly financial institutions, on protecting their infrastructure from cyber threats. $3.4 billion spent annually in antivirus licenses, and $1 billion estimated to be spent annually on patching vulnerabilities. In the event of a security incident, they reckon about $10 billion is spent cleaning up the effects of a cybersecurity incident.
Mr. Quate says that although a lot of money is needed for cybersecurity, he suggested for them to make a stand to ensure safety from cybercrime.
Obviously, we don't have the money in the Pacific to spend on security, but you know, you got to look at what the world is doing, what's happening in the world right now, to maybe take a stance with your own management and say, you know, we've got to step up and invest some money into training, into infrastructure to make sure that, you know, we're protected.
The manager of PACSERT gave his presentation on the second day of the regional PACINET meeting. Apart from the conference itself, an internet-related training is held on the sidelines in Whanelua Convention Centre.
2 men have survived a car accident on Umusi Road on Monday this week. Waiula Hospital's acting medical superintendent, Dr. Sayapukala, says they are in a stable condition and will be released soon. The car crash was reported to Radio and Television Tonga News by a mother of one of the victims. She says the car was travelling along Umusi when it drove straight into a power pole on the side of the road. When Radio and Television Tonga News contacted the Deputy Police Commissioner, Sokai Matopaka, for further information on the incident, he says he had no knowledge of the accident and it was not reported to the police station. He advises the public to report all such incidents to the police in order for them to carry out their duties and investigations. He adds that police do not come to arrest or charge people, but to find out what happens before further decisions are made. When the mother of the car crash victim was questioned why she didn't report the incident, she replied that the matter had already been settled. Members of the Free Church of Tonga at Mawhanga are preparing for the official opening of their newly renovated church once it's completed this week. Renovation on the church building began late last year.
The new Cathedral of Ma'awhanga to be officially opened this week. Work is currently underway, with church members helping out with the construction work, and was led by the Reverend of the Church, Kelepi Tamale. The church members in Tonga and abroad raised funds of more than 600,000 pa'anga to fund this new development. Inside the church, the ceiling has been put up together with the lights, with only a few works needed to be done. This is the eastern side of the church. Doors and windows were being put up today. This is one of the eldest buildings in Tonga, where it was built in the 1980s.
And that's the local scene. Up next is the latest from around the region.